Hey playa, is it difficult for you to make friends or get closer to people because you have Aspergers or autism? Being in social situations can be a bit tricky, but don't worry. In this video, I've brought along a friend to teach you how to make them easier. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So if you want to learn and grow, hit the subscribe button and make sure to click on the notification bell. Today's special guest is Steven from the YouTube channel Tostemac. Steven shares autism vlogs, and you know what, Steven? Why don't you tell them?
Hello everyone, my name is Steven McAllister, and I'm an author, artist, fellow autistic, and might I say an all-around lovable guy. Ever since I learned I have Asperger's syndrome at the age of 5, I wanted to learn more about how autism affected my life, as well as those around me. And now I want to share my experience with all of you guys. So I created the YouTube channel Tostemac, where I post autism vlogs every Saturday in terms of either my personal experience with autism or a news article related to autism.
Now, one of the questions that might cycle through your mind is, when you make a new friend, should you ever bring up the fact that you have Asperger's or autism? In fact, should you tell them at all?
Well, you don't want to tell your new friends right away that you have autism. Why is that, you may ask? The same reason you don't put that you're autistic on a resume. It makes it easier for other people to discriminate against you. They see you for what you have, not who you are. Normally, when a neurotypical thinks about a disabled person or someone with a mental disability, they either imagine that person as like an object of pity, like, oh, you poor thing, or someone that they want to distance themselves from to save them the trouble. Alrighty then. Of course, this doesn't apply to all neurotypicals. There are actually many neurotypicals that are more accepting of autistics than others. Instead, focus on building the friendship based on who you are and who the other person is. Try to find certain elements for a good friendship, like common interest, what are some of your beliefs, what do you like, what do you don't like, what's your favorite music. Try using those as the cornerstones to build up the friendship over time. And as time passes, see if you could try to get a good vibe on the person. Is this new friend someone gonna be there during your tough times, or someone who's just gonna leave you to dry? Someone who's just gonna understand your smiles, or someone who understands your smiles and your tears? Eventually, you may feel comfortable enough to disclose the information that you have autism to your friend. And if they really are your friend, they'll understand and still accept you. If not, well, there are other friends to make down the road. Or maybe you don't want to disclose that information at all, and that's perfectly fine. Whether or not you want to tell your friends that you have autism is your choice, and yours alone.
That's right, the choice is yours. Now, another obstacle you might run into is being in a situation where, because you have Asperger's or autism, you feel uncomfortable, but no one else knows about it. Should you bring up that discomfort with them? Should you let them know when you feel uncomfortable?
In the ideal situation, you want to tell your friends about things that make you feel uncomfortable before they happen, not during or after. Because if you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation and you didn't tell your friends about it, you're going to find yourself trying to tough it out for the sake of your friends, and it's gonna deteriorate your mood, make you feel really uncomfortable, and kind of make your friends question if you're alright or not. Let's give an example, shall we? Let's say all you guys are going to a music concert, okay? It's your favorite band, it's your night out or something like that, and you have a choice. You can either sit up on the balcony where you get a comfy seat and your personal space, or you can get right up to the stage where a huge crowd is, hoping to shake hands with their favorite celebrity. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that you're claustrophobic. You don't like being in tight fit areas or having to deal with huge crowds of people pushing you left and right, squeezing you together like a sandwich. If you tell your friends ahead of time that you don't feel comfortable about this, they'll know in advance and make the accommodations so that you guys can sit up on the balcony rather than being squeezed together in this group hoping to shake hands with your favorite musician or performer or whatnot.
That's true, Steven, and I get it. No one ever wants to feel like the odd person out, like the person that's ruining plans or changing things, but it's important sometimes for you to put your own mental health first. Now, another challenge you might run into is sometimes your friends might make fun of you or tease you for having Asperger's or autism. They may call you names, they may think it's a joke. How do you approach those situations?
Ooh, here is where things can get very complicated, because comedy is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, every good comedian knows the power of laughter. How one good joke or one funny moment can change someone's miserable day into a complete 180. How one funny moment can just help someone get through a really tough day. But on the other hand, we're in a society where we're a lot more aware and a lot more sensitive about certain subjects. So if you say a bad word, or say a bad joke, or say something insulting, you're gonna get some serious backlash for it. It's gonna do more bad than good. So before you determine whether or not it's okay for your friends to joke about autism, think about two things. One, are they laughing with you or laughing at you? There's a big difference between the two. And second, what are some things that you stand for? Where do you draw the line? If you find in a moment where your friend crosses that line at some point and says some insulting joke, let them know in a kind and professional manner that, hey, I don't really take kindly to that. It's kind of insulting to me. So just be a bit more careful about that in the future, please. If they really are your friends, they'll understand, accept it, and try not to make that joke again. If not, and if they keep doing it, well, you kind of get where I'm getting at by now.
I agree. Everyone has different levels of acceptance, so it's important to know where you stand and what you're okay with. Now, another hurdle you might encounter is trying to figure out whether or not someone has Asperger's or autism. You may not want to directly ask them, but is it simply rude to just ask them or even to assume it altogether?
If you think or suspect that a friend of yours has autism but they haven't told you yet, one word of advice: you might want to keep it to yourself for the time being. If they haven't told you whether or not they have autism, they probably have their reasons for it. Maybe they're worried that once you know that they have autism, that you might treat them differently or act differently around them because of that disability, or maybe they simply just don't want to talk about it. There may come a day when they feel comfortable about disclosing that information to you. It might come tomorrow. It might never come. But whether or not that person in question is autistic, it shouldn't deteriorate your friendship. After all, a true friendship should be built based around who you are, not what you have. And besides, if it turns out they don't have autism or a mental disability and you ask them that, you may find yourself looking silly in the process. Because you know what they say about assuming? It makes an ass out of you and me.
That's a very good point. It's so important to approach others with kindness and compassion. At the end of the day, we're all people. We all want to know that we're capable of being loved for who we are. But now I want to know, what do you think? Do you find it difficult to make friends if you have Asperger's or autism? Or do you find it difficult to make friends with people who do have it? Share your comments down below and we'll talk about it.
Well, this has certainly been a lot of fun, Josh, and I'm really glad I got the opportunity to talk to you guys about this. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and until the next video, see you later.
The learning doesn't end there though. If you want to know what the top 10 autism myths are, check out the video me and Steven did over on his channel. I'm going to link it up right here on the screen. You can tap it to go watch it. Thank you, Steven, for being a part of this video. And on that note, guys, I'll catch you next week. As always, love and peace.
Was that a Trigun reference? Awesome!